Our speakers are excited to meet us. They get tired of talking, hearing from me all day. But from LOZ Sports Training, let me introduce Brock Heerdt and Benjamin Boyle. They also work at Wisconsin Woodchucks. They are here to tell you about the indoor sports training facility in town and a bunch of stuff affecting our area. You can stand up there.
You can stand up and if be over here, then the speaker will pick you up. I'll put it on safety lives.
All right, so as Jeff said, I'm Brock, this is Benji. A little background on us, neither of us are from here. I moved out here in 2019 from Los Angeles, California. My parents moved out here 8 years prior to that. Coming out and visiting them. Kind of fell in love with the area. Benji was actually when I was coaching high school baseball back home, he was my very first freshman class. So I've known him since he was about 14. Coached him in high school and college. And then got him to visit during the summer. And he fell in love with him. And then he moved here during the winter. Yeah, so, but. Yeah, so, but we both moved out here and he's engaged, he married this summer, I got married last winter, so the area has been awesome. A little bit about kind of how this all started in 2021, after COVID, I myself was out here. My true passion is kids and kids. But the passion really kicks in when we're to do something through baseball or through softball. And when I moved out here, I saw kind of a lack of investment in that. I didn't know if it was a lack of interest. I didn't know if I just moved into big time football country or what the case was. But started doing lessons. Jeff let me use the cages up at BPN in 2021. And that's when I saw that there was an actual desire at the lake area, something I didn't know if we had or not, because I know the rec numbers had been down, didn't know if there was any club teams around here, didn't know what the involvement was like. And very quickly, I found myself accidentally doing lessons 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day all through the week outside of BPN during the summer, which was awesome, but extremely uncomfortable outside. So Jeff and a couple guys, they believed in me enough to get us started at LOZ Sports Training that November. At this point now, we are already at over 680 clients, which to see how the community has rallied around and supported us has been absolutely incredible. When we started it, I honestly, in my mind, didn't know if it was going to take off and flop. I didn't know how people were going to respond to it. So it's been awesome to see that. And that's one reason why we brought Benji in, is we started seeing how much it was growing and how much the kids and the families wanted this. We needed some more guys that really knew what they were talking about. What we teach at LOZ Sports Training is far more than just baseball and softball. I'd always joke around with our kids that 90% of our lessons almost feel like they're a sports therapy type session. From they grew up with a certain style of coaching that didn't necessarily work with them, or they got tired of getting yelled at, or they don't understand how to necessarily deal with failure. And in those sports in particular, you're constantly dealing with failure. With baseball and softball in particular, there are limitless parallels between that and real life. So being able to kind of have conversations, not just about baseball and softball, but about how, working through this, or, hey, in life, you're going to get knocked down 100 times. Can you get up 101 times and doing the same thing on the baseball and the softball field? That's been a real joy. It's kind of why I got started in this. I wanted to fill a void that I didn't have when I was a younger kid. So that's why I got into this, is to try to be that person for them. So it's really cool being able to see that work. One thing that we're also able to do out here now is we're developing coaches, so we have a lot of awesome dads that have wanted to be involved. But starting a team, trying to figure it out, it can be a little nerve-wracking, it can be a little intimidating. We now have 13 club teams underneath us, and they're all different levels. It's not just the elite travel ball team. We have from rec all the way up through it, but we're able to get a lot of the dads and these parents involved and be able to work with them and do coaching clinics and be able to coach them up. So now when we're working with their kid, it becomes less daddy ball and more, hey, I also understand what I'm talking about. So then we can impact more kids. Because if it's just me and Benji out there trying to do this, this would never work. There's not enough. We need more people. So being able to utilize the people that we already have here that have a heart for the kids, that have a passion for the kids in the sport, has been another true joy of ours. A couple of things that we do for the community. One, we've seen the growth of baseball and softball exponentially in the last 2 or 3 years here. Not only just at the youth levels, but we've started to see the impact in the high school sports teams as well. Don't know if you guys have paid much attention to it, but the Camden High School girls softball team the last few years has been going off the charts. They've basically been doing private instruction with them for the last 2 years. They've put in the work, absolutely, but it's been kind of cool to see how those two have kind of been able to work together to put together some pretty historic seasons for the club. Same thing with many of the high school kids in Camden. We like to put on a semi-regular basis affordable camps and clinics for the local kids. I mean, no more than $40, maybe $50 for a 1 or 2 day event type thing. And again, we reach out to all different levels of the sport. One thing that we always tell our clients is we want to be in the business of creating opportunities, not of eliminating. A lot of times when people think of a Ballparks National or an LOZ Sports Training, until you get to know us or until you kind of get involved, it kind of just looks like a giant money-making operation, or they think that they're just trying to cater to the elite athletes, to the athletes that have hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw at this, and this is all they want to do. But there's a place for everybody in all sports, but specifically baseball and softball. We want to make sure that we allow access to as many kids as possible. So when we do these club teams that we have, like I said earlier, it's not just the elite of the elite. We want the recreational kids. We want the kids who they just want to play March through June and go enjoy their summer or go play football. We want to kind of invest in the entire athlete in that kid's life rather than just, hey, give me the kid that's going to go to a Division I school or go try to play professional baseball. One thing that a couple of the high school kids have talked to us about is that now that they're seeing other kids in front of them do it, go on and play at the collegiate level, and now they kind of feel like that dream is more realistic than it had been in the past. In the past, a lot of the baseball guys around here hadn't necessarily seen someone in front of them do it, so it just kind of seemed out of reach, it seemed very intimidating. But now that you've got kids like Durden's boys, Mellencamp's, several of the girls on the softball team, now you start seeing it kind of trickle down and people start getting a little bit more invested, a little bit more excited because they see that the path to higher education, a much more affordable version of it, is a reality. One of kind of the coolest things that we've seen in the batting cage was there's a 12-year-old girl I was giving lessons to. And the lesson in front of her was a stud athlete in Camden, Zoe Locker. She's all state, all world, everything. And I guess the girl had seen her batting gloves. The 12-year-old saw the girl's batting gloves, and they're these really loud, bright pink with baby blue. They're like $100 batting gloves. The next week, that girl came in with those same batting gloves. And I said, hey, why'd you get those ones? I saw Zoe with them, and I love going to the games and watching her. And so I got them too. I was like, see, but it's not just the people on TV that these kids are emulating. It's much different here than when we grew up. We didn't necessarily grow up imagining or dreaming to play at a certain high school because there's no legacy. It's not like our parents went there. It's not like it is out here, where these girls and these kids are going to these games and they're seeing these girls as now role models, as guys as role models. So it's really cool to kind of see them all interact at LOZ Sports Training also. And for Jeff, BPM is a true partner in this, both entities feed off each other, so we're very thankful to you as well, Jeff. We're going through a lot of growth right now, not only in our teams, but our coaching staff, our facility. We're constantly needing more and more instructors because we've got more kids to help than we can even handle. One thing that we're doing in the 2024 year is we're going to do free clinics at all the recreational leagues around here. So I know we've got dates just about in place with Camden, Osage, Tuscumbia, Skyline also. But we want to be able to take our instructors out there and put on a free clinic for the kids and the coaches. To just invest in them and kind of give them a basic foundation as they move forward. We'll also be helping run the Parks and Rec League at Osage Beach that we've kind of taken over there. In the past few years, I believe they've reached 5 or 6 teams basically. The rec involvement has been next to none. So we've kind of partnered with Danielle over here with the Camden League to build hopefully one larger league where we're able to get that investment from the kids and get the interaction. I really think that some of the plans we have going forward, one of our creative ideas with this league is if there's an age group that doesn't have 30 kids in it, so we can't make 2 or 3 teams out of it. Jeff has us go to the ABCA over here, which is American Baseball Coaches Association convention. And there's a guy there who during COVID invented this thing called speedball. So for leagues that don't have the infrastructure for 4, 5, 6 teams in an actual league, he's done a method where you only need 9 kids to play full baseball. And if any of you guys have played baseball, you've probably even done this at your own practices with your kid. Basically, you have 3 teams of 3 or 3 teams of 4. No kids allowed to play the same position twice in a row. You got 1 team in the outfield, 1 in the infield, 1 hitting, and then they rotate as the game goes on. So you start seeing that you can play a full game with only 9 kids, not 18 kids. And those kids are getting 2 or 3 times more at bats, 2 or 3 more times in the field than they normally ever would. So I think, again, the more involvement that we get, the less sitting on the bench, the less. And most of us have probably played a recreational sport at some point in time. We know how those can get. We know it kind of becomes a snowball fight, a little bit of a snooze fest. The more action that we can keep in the game, ultimately the better it's going to be for the whole baseball and softball community. This Ben, as I said before, one thing I'm very proud of him about that I really want to share with you guys, when he came out here, he had no problem speaking with the high school and college athletes that we housed in the indoor facility. He knows how to communicate with them. He knows how to meet them on their level. It was phenomenal. We don't have a whole lot of college athletes around here. And when we first started, we didn't necessarily have a whole host of high school guys either. So one of his challenges when he got here was, okay, well, how do I turn this complicated idea into peanut butter and jelly sandwich for this 10-year-old kid that is not going to understand exit velocity, spin rate, layback, all these different terms that he's going to use. And I believe you didn't really enjoy working with kids at first.
I really grew to love it. It's kind of speak of passion. The youth athletes, or even over the high school kids. I love the high school kids, they good blessings too, but my passion is now with all athletes out here.
To the extent where this year he's going to actually be spearheading a kind of a separate arm or a different arm of LOZ Sports Training. He's going to be heading up an entire youth academy where kids will come in multiple times a week all together. If you want to talk about it, you want to just touch a couple.
The one thing I just wanted to make fun of the thing, maybe in the past, it was more like a mechanical robotic kind of session, whatever coach they had. I just want to make it as fun and engaging, help develop skills that can scale from them to high school and wherever they can stop, like just getting them ready for that. So baseball.
And that's one thing that you will see if you guys ever stop by, come to one of our games, or come to the door. You're going to see kids that are learning at a phenomenal level, a very high level, but you're going to see people having a ton of fun while they're doing it. Whenever a kid comes into the cage for the first time, I give them the same kind of spiel every time. Hey, I'm Brock. It's wonderful to meet you. And the next sentence after that is, this is a safe place to fail. You're not gonna get yelled at. Not gonna make fun of you if you look ridiculous and you fall over on a swing. This is your safe place to fail. This is our place to experiment. This is our place to try things. And I think a lot of kids today, I know myself, still struggle with it, honestly. They try to be perfect. They've got to be perfect. They've got to be perfect. And I think we've all, whether it's our business life or personal life, we all know that that's not really how it works. Life is messy. Life is hard. Ultimately, if you're going to be successful, you probably failed several times before that, and now your success is a result of how you work through that. So being able to share that with the kids and now be able to see them do things now that they had no shot of being able to do 2 or 3 months ago, or not even understand a year ago, is really kind of the true goal. But I guess, do we open it up for questions? Is that what's the protocol here? I mean, if you guys have any questions about any of it at all, we're involved in a little bit of just about everything with baseball and softball, and hopefully more sports as we go forward.
I think you all do a wonderful job, people, and that's great. I noticed you never talked about seniors, though, and I was thinking, we got 80 and 90-year-olds. Maybe you can teach them how to work software.
So see no, and actually it's funny, now while I don't know if we're getting the seniors, I know Jeff, myself, Benji, we really do want to get an adult league going out here, but quick story about that was funny. We have this girl, Emma Rapes, that comes and does lessons with us when she's not at Lincoln University College playing softball. And her first lesson, she'd put her schedule up and nobody really signed up for a week. And then 2 weeks and nobody had signed up. And so then she finally got somebody. And were you at the facility? Yeah, we were at the facility. And so we're thinking, she's very petite, sweet softball girl. And we had a 90-year-old man come in for a softball lesson from and he actually plays for the Hooters national softball team. So she's a fast pitch pitcher, and he was obviously doing the slow pitch thing, but it was kind of funny to see that interaction. And we do get a senior crowd in there from time to time. So
what's the cost? Do you have like a package or every time?
Yeah, so as we move into our new building, we're going to be able to add memberships. I want to try to increase the access that people will have to it. Right now, at the current facility, we only have 3 cages, so we really have to be able to maximize every minute that we can in there, or every dollar that we can. However, so right now, your private lessons will go from $42 basically a half hour, $84 for an hour. The batting cage time is $22 a half hour. We have larger packages. The larger bundle package you buy, the more money comes off of those lessons as well. If you are one of our club athletes, you have significantly different perks than everybody else too. And I would say probably 80% of baseball players around here ultimately are a part of our club. But they'll get lessons at I believe it's 15 or 20% off. They get the batting cage rentals off for 50%. Ultimately, as we go forward, my real dream for this is to really almost be a little bit of an after-school program. I want it to be kind of a sports hub where, hey, after school, whether you're a football player, baseball player, whatever it is, you can come here, you can get your homework done. We'll have sports up on the television, whatever. Come in, get your work done, rent a cage, do your lesson, and kind of just hang out with a bunch of like-minded people. I know the parents would appreciate that because they get a little bit more quiet time. But I think really kind of building that type of community has really helped. I know we've seen it in our facility when we do these clinics, you'll see a lot of times kind of the same 6 or 7 kids. And one thing that's been really awesome with that is the intensity and the competition in their workouts skyrockets. It's like when we're running sprints. If I go out there and run a sprint, I definitely couldn't right now, but if I go out there and run a sprint, you're going to see a certain time. Whereas if you put Benji right next to me and we both got to run the same sprint, you're going to see a drastically different time for me for that competition. So kind of building that community and see everybody feed off of each other, challenge each other has been really close.
Are they traditional cages or are they like golf simulators?
I want one of those so bad, but they are the traditional cages.
Tell them about the expansion.
So the expansion that we've got currently, our building is 3,200-ish square feet. Off runabout, actually in runabout storage right now.
Your
30
dog went down.
Yeah.
Those.
3,200 square feet. I mean, it's tight, but again, when we started, we didn't really know what this would turn into, and I would say within 6 months, we outgrew the place. We just had our 2-year anniversary a few months ago. So this new expansion that we're gonna be able to house, football and soccer training right away. It's gonna be about 15,000 square feet. So we're gonna go from 3 cages to 7 cages. 3 of those cages are actually, we already have an open turf area set aside, but we're gonna be back 3 cages too, to be able to further open that for football, soccer, strength and agility type training. And that will hopefully be done in May of this year. But what we're gonna need to do with that is drastically different than what we're able to do now. And right now, when you have 3 cages, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much scheduling that you can do. But when we've got a facility where we can open it up and we can have 7 cages and have all this room, Benji to finally have this workout area where he can do all of this great throwing program stuff. It's really gonna kind of help take it to the next level. It's gonna be.
Where is that?
Jeff?
Yeah, it's behind, Lowe's, next to, kind of near the Expo Center. And, it's there. So, what's the age range?
We get it all over the place. We've had kids as young as 5 years old and we have college athletes. I've got guys that are in the major leagues that will probably come down and train during the off season every now and then also. But I would say that the 5-year-olds, don't bring them to lessons. However, they do come, but they're not gonna learn anything. It becomes a babysitting session more than anything. But we really start seeing a lot of growth when those kids are about 8 or 9 years old. But basically, as they start getting into kind of coach pitch, player pitch type thing. But yeah, no, we do have quite a few babysitting sessions every week. So we'll take a little bit better thing. Anybody else? Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you guys.